Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin Show. Today is September the 29th, 2018. Strong hand, unconfiscatable. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. Deferral gratification, conviction. This show is going to be it's going to be about those last three things basically, and a lot of other things. Hey, I got my Honey Badger of Bitcoin shirt on. You can get shirts like this linked to below. Get your Trezor, all sorts of affiliate links linked to below. Disruptmeister.com. Watch all my old videos. Like they're almost 1,100 now. Hey, make sure you watch Friday's show, yesterday's show, This Week in Bitcoin. It was awesome. Stop watching this show right now and just watch This Week in Bitcoin first. Then you can watch this show. And I want to thank Zach Bandera for the $5 super chat before this show started. I really appreciate the support, Zach. You're a great longtime viewer of the show and a supporter. So thanks a lot, dude. I appreciate all you dudes out there going beyond Bitcoin with me on a Saturday night, my 26th. So I've been doing this for half a year now, this Beyond Bitcoin show. You never know when it might spin off into a second channel. Who knows? All right. So these are interesting topics. They're beyond Bitcoin. So let's start with a tweet by Arjun. Now, by the way, Arjun was on my show on Friday. So again, he's a smart guy out of New York. He says, embedded in YouTube, Reddit, and Twitter are the world's largest learning communities. Dude, that is a great perspective. You come to YouTube and Twitter, and even Reddit, I guess, but especially YouTube and Twitter to learn. I mean, so many people come to Twitter to curse at each other. Oh, dudes, you're just wasting your time with that. I get so much information from Twitter, especially crypto information. I mean, yes, that is it's a great source of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency information. I've said this a million times, but if you follow crypto Twitter and you don't get caught up in the drama, because there is drama also, don't just stay focused and you're going to learn a lot, much more so than just reading mainstream articles or even CoinDesk articles. And of course, YouTube. If you know to watch the 20%, and there's a lot of trash on YouTube also, in crypto, but the 20%ers out there, they're doing some good stuff. And yeah, no fancy set of graphics here, baby. You better believe it. You can learn a lot of other great things on YouTube also, from the philosopher type people like Stefan Molyneux, people that I talk about in videos like this, economic invincibility, Vention MGTOW, of course, and who's another? Thinking Ape MGTOW. And I don't agree with Thinking Ape on everything either. He's not right on everything. All right. So, but again, staying on the topic of new ways of educating oneself and the evolution of education, because we're in a time where education is evolving very fast. And here is a article from Axios. It says, Generation Z students classified as being between the ages of 14 and 23 believe that YouTube is a bigger contributor to their education than textbooks. So you can see the young people in high school and middle school and college, they're realizing that YouTube is a bigger contributor to their education than textbooks. They're ready to toss out and burn their textbooks. Good for them. Now, what do they mean? Now, are they talking mainstream YouTube? Because there's a lot of 80% stuff on YouTube also. So a lot of these kids, unfortunately, they're watching, they're learning from the videos that say to eat the Tide Pods and stuff, because it's cool. But there is hope. You don't need that traditional college education anymore. Okay, I mean, especially when it's $50,000 a year. There's some social reasons for doing it, and I guess certain fields it might be important, but most, I mean, if you're going to be an entrepreneurial type of person, which I encourage everyone to be, there's no point in paying $50,000 to go to, unless to go to some middle tier college or upper middle tier college or something. You know, when you're talking about the top 20 universities, when you're that smart, I mean, if you could get a scholarship to one of the top 20s, again, I went to Washington University in St. Louis. I've mentioned this before, so people are going to say, you went to college, you partied, you had fun, you made connections, and it's all true. I did. So I can't. And would I have done things differently if I lived in this era now? Who knows? I mean, I was 17 years old when I went to college. There was a lot of peer pressure to go to college. I was a kid. I succumbed to peer pressure back then. But at least there, you know, for the kids that didn't, there are smart people out there who don't do well in the SAT for whatever reason, or don't do well in school for whatever reason and can't go to a top tier university. Those, maybe they do well in the SAT, but they still can't go to a top tier university. Those dudes, no question about it, dudes. If you're not getting into a top 20 school, yeah, then go learn on the internet, man. It's fun. Become an entrepreneur when you're 18 years old. All right, I just talked a lot of mumbo jumbo, but I had to throw out my own little personal story there also, because people are going to say, you know, you did it one way, you're saying to do it another way. And again, there were good points, but again, we're going to get into how college has changed. How can I comment? It's comparing apples and oranges. You know, when I went to college and you hooked up with a girl, I mean, you weren't going to, well, it could come back to haunt me now, obviously. But I mean, now it's horrible what can happen. Like, you can't even hook up with women anymore. You can't even drink in front of a woman anymore or something. I don't know. It's so politically correct. It's just like gotten worse and worse over the last 5 years, apparently. All right, enough of that. And so to tie it all up, here's the truth. Here's something that I do agree with on a certain level also. This is from J.W. Weatherman, who also was on my show, on Friday, so check it out. He offers his own crypto education course. You should take it. I'll talk more about it on tomorrow's show, but if you say Adam Meister, he'll give you like a $50 discount or something. But here's his latest video. I haven't watched it yet. It says, in 20 years, a college degree will be a sign of stupidity, with some exceptions. So I agree with that. I think a lot of people, college is being, there's so many low-level colleges now that they're letting everybody in, but just because they're trying to make a lot of money. And it's just like people are getting college degrees just to say they have a college degree, and then to work at Starbucks or something. I mean, it's like a status symbol. So there isn't much intellectual exploration behind like the bulk of people who go to college now. So I can really see it as like, yeah, you took this mainstream 80%er way of life 20 years from now, at least. Yeah, it is. I wouldn't say a sign of stupidity, a sign of 80%erism. Pound that like button. Okay, I just changed it a little bit there. What a JW's thing. Anyway, someone mentioned on a chat about drinking cold water. I do not drink cold water. You shouldn't drink freezing cold water. A lot of people, I remember when I used to play soccer or whatever, and I would, you know, it would feel so nice to get the cold water in you. And I guess it does feel nice, but that's not very natural. I mean, like, you got to think back in the olden days, who had access to freezing cold water? Maybe like Eskimos or something like that. But I mean, I think our bodies are in tune with warmer water, or at least not freezing cold. So I always, here we go. You know, I got this, I never put this in the refrigerator. I let it sit out all the time. So that's, I drink room temperature water. So there's a tip. Who knows? In the long run, will it help? We shall see. But be a long-term thinker. Don't take those short-term shortcuts like, oh, I'll just drink one Coca-Cola every single day. No, that's no Coca-Cola ever. I only drink water again. So let's talk about a MGTOW named Human. This dude has a video out there. I think it's one of the best YouTube videos I've ever watched in terms of philosophy. And I think it's Human's best ever. And it's only about 8 minutes long. I linked to it below. It's about how discrimination is good. Now, I know that sounds bad. You immediately think about like racism or something. Think beyond that. Think beyond what the mainstream description of discrimination is, okay? So I'll mention some things that he mentioned and paraphrase, I guess, a little bit here. When you love everything, you love nothing. Okay? So those who don't discriminate, they love everything. But what's that really mean? That means they really love nothing. They have no standard. So the lazy people out there, the 80%ers, not all 80%ers are lazy, but the lazy people love the lack of pragmatic discrimination because they can just let themselves go. And the world can tell them there is no healthy, that everyone is great, even if you're huge. It doesn't matter. Don't discriminate against huge people. They're okay also. There's no need to plan. There's no need to plan. There's no need for long-term thinking because everybody's great. You don't reject anyone. We're not going to reject anyone. We're going to take care of everyone. We're not going to discriminate against anyone. So if you plan, you didn't plan, you're going to be fine. That's the way of the world. That's the way the lazy people want the world to be, at least. The 80%ers want the world. They don't want discrimination. They don't want there to be a hierarchy. You know, that there is a better. There is better out there. Hold yourself to the same high standards you hold others. It gives you meaning. Okay, so if you have no standards, you have no motivation. Okay? Again, if everything's fine, I'll take anything, then why do you want to better yourself? Why do you want to get up in the morning? If you don't discriminate, then you have no values. There is excellence in this world. There is excellence in this world. So you've got to discriminate against the people who are going to bring you down, the anti-excellence people out there. You want to have again, if you have values, you're going to want to associate yourself with people who are excellent, who are good, okay? If you don't discriminate, anything's fine. I'll go with the killer, whatever. I'll go with the robber. Again, so the key in all this is first, before you discriminate, before you have high standards for others, you have to hold yourself to a high standard, okay? Some people out there, they have high standards for other people, okay? But they have no standards for themselves. So they hold others like, oh, you drank, you're a bad person. Well, they drink, they get drunk, they get wasted. But they don't think they're bad people. So again, hold yourself to a high standard first, and then you can hold others to high standards, and you're going to have meaning in your life. But if you have no standards at all, and you're holding people to high standards, then you're just virtue signaling to fit in. You're just spouting out words to fit in. And I mean, I guess you have no value. You don't value yourself at all. You're just there to fit in and rip down other people when you're worse off than them, really. All right. So we're going to tie this into. There's a lot of political news lately, hasn't there been in America? Even though I'm here in Santiago, Chile, it gets thrown in your face. I got to say, political news is like now a soap opera for retired people and unemployed people and like 80%ers. Don't waste your time on it, okay? So much of it is a soap opera right now. And we're gonna bring up an aspect of it. I already alluded to an aspect of it in talking about people who hold other people to high standards, yet they don't hold themselves to the same standards. I think a lot of you can tell what I'm talking about there. But let's talk about a question that JC in South Africa asked recently, and now I'm going to answer it. Well, first of all, before I get to JC's question, if you know you can improve, then you can improve, okay? Think about that. If you know that you can improve, then you can improve. So many people are not aware that they can do better, that they can be better. So that is the first step. The first step of improving is knowing that because some people just think, oh, I'm the greatest, or they have no standards at all. So they don't care about that kind of thing. So if you think like, oh, dude, my life is not going the way I wanted it to go. Well, that's the first step. You realize that you can be better. So that's the first step to improving. So I just want to give you that little push there. Pound that little pound that like button. Okay. So how I manage without a cell phone. Okay. JC was wondering, how do I live my life without a cell phone? So I don't have a cell phone. No, I don't need a day. I don't. So when I'm walking around, do I need a map? No. Beforehand, before I go out, I see. I look on my laptop here and I map out where I need to go. I email someone I'm coming over or whatever. Don't need to constantly text them every step of the way. I don't need to call them every step of the way. I don't get lost or anything. I don't drive. I don't drive unless and I'm in Baltimore, which is rare. And I don't like driving anymore. So if you don't drive, maybe that eliminates the need for a cell phone too. But then again, here's the biggest tip. Google gives people, if you're in the United States and Canada at least, you can get free phone numbers from Google, okay? So you can just make up some Google phone number and people can call you there on your freaking laptop, okay? I can call people on my laptop. I call my grandmother every Friday on my laptop, okay? It is free. It is free, okay? And actually, people can call me on my laptop, okay? And it's totally free. This is Google. Go look it up. Google gives you free freaking phone numbers. And Guy Bennett just sent $5 in the super chat. Thank you, man. Samurai Wallet is removing fiat currency balances. I actually read that. Bold move or too early. Strong hand offended by selling. You know what? That is a crypto question, and this is supposed to be the Beyond Bitcoin show, but that's a great question. So of course I'm going to answer it. I'm going to be paid $5, dude. I mean, if someone asks any question, I'm going to answer it. If you pay me some money here, thank you very much, guys. But yeah, I think it's great. One Bitcoin. They are reinforcing that one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Another thing, Samurai Wallet is used by advanced Bitcoin. No rookies use that thing. No rookies use that thing. All right. So they're already dealing with an audience that is offended by selling and has a strong hand and knows that one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. So they're going to actually gain market share in the hardcore audience for this bold move. So I think it's strategic. It's strategic because it's going to make a lot of people happy that are like me, value their freaking wealth in Bitcoin. Because again, the people using the Samurai Wallet aren't the people that are on Coinbase saying, "Ooh, let me diversify for the sake of diversification." No, okay, no, they're not that. They're not the people like my Ripple is worth 10% more in terms of fiat. No, these are already pretty advanced dudes using the Samurai Wallet. So I think it is a good move, Guy. And I'm going to talk about this on Sunday's show. Let me write that down. So I'm going to say all this again on Sunday's show. Sunday. All right. Thank you, Guy. That's really good. You reminded me about that subject. Okay. So we're at privacy tips. Here's a privacy tip article from Jameson Lopp. Some of it's pretty hardcore stuff, but I linked to it below. Everything I talk about in this video is linked to below. He talked about how now certain cameras have tattoo recognition on them. So, hey, man, I have no tattoos. I've always recommended to all of you to have no tattoos. It's a waste of money. You end up regretting them. I can't tell you, so many women that I've been intimate with, I mean, they've got these tattoos. They're going to regret them. I mean, some of them are married now. I mean, I told you about the one girl. I mean, on her inner thigh, she looked like a very innocent girl from the outside. It like had a dragon or something on her inner thigh leading up to her. And I mean, maybe she won't regret that. Well, then again, I mean, when she's wearing her one-piece bathing suit when she's 45 with her like kids, yeah, she probably will regret that actually. So again, tattoos, I've always said, total long-term thinking people. There are a lot of women. Again, a lot of them had them above their butts, and they're going to regret. And they're going to, once they have kids, and rips. And guys too, dudes. I mean, are you going to be able to get a good job? And again, you should work for yourself. But some of you don't work for yourself. If you got your hand tattooed, but do what you want to do. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. But we're talking about privacy. So again, another thing with your tattoos, guys, they're unique. So there is technology out there that it's going to identify you. That that's here. Vention MGTOW doesn't have any tattoo, but let's pretend he did. Oh, that's the Vention MGTOW tattoo. That's Vention MGTOW, whose real name is XYZ. I mean, so he'll be busted like that. Because he's pretty good with anonymity. But if he had some tattoo in his arm, they'd get him. his privacy would be down the drain. So yeah, don't carry around the phone was another tip. Hey, look, I live that one too. I don't carry around a phone. I don't have a phone. Don't be flashy. Well, that's true. I'm not flashy. Jeez whiz. You should see the stuff that I run in. I mean, I look like a freaking bum sometimes when I'm running. Hair is all disheveled. Don't shave. I mean, literally, I'll wear the same shirt like running 4 days in a row. I mean, and some of my shirts have holes in them that I've run in. I mean, on the streets of LA, they probably think, who knows what they think I am. Here in or on any streets in the United States, they think I'm a bum when I'm running, which is great. They would never suspect. That guy has Bitcoin. Well, what is Bitcoin? Live a nomadic lifestyle, he said. Yeah, I do live a nomadic then, and try to blend in. I do try to blend in. Well, when I'm not looking like a bum, I don't have like fancy Nikes and all that stuff. But again, there's some privacy tips, and not only are all those privacy tips, but those are like long-term thinking, Adam Meister, save some money tips. So, all right, let's talk about open secrets that few people say out loud. So we're living in this weird era where people are just screaming like, I can't believe X, Y, and Z was drinking in high school or drinking in college. I can't believe that young people, it is so bad for a man in college to sleep with a woman if both of them have been drinking. It's so horrible. It's so I would never do that. That's so outrageous. Young people drinking and then having sex. It's just so unheard of. Guys, people, you're lying to yourselves, or you're just naive, or you're virtue signaling, and you want to take certain people down for certain reasons. Come on, dudes. Almost every woman, and I've had sexual intercourse with quite a few women, and almost every single one of them I've been drunk at some time, and they've been drunk. We've been drinking together and stuff. I mean, I think there's like probably only one woman in my whole life that I've had sex with that there was no alcohol ever involved. Again, some women you've had sex with multiple times, and you had obviously, I mean, girlfriends. There's sometimes you've been sober, but I'm saying every woman that I've had sex with, we've been drinking around each other. I mean, what's the big deal? People get drunk. People drink, and then they. I mean, again, you got to take personal responsibility. You got to be careful that your standards don't go down the drain, and you end up with some horrible. And again, use protection and stuff. And again, I shouldn't be. I'm not glorifying having sex with double-digit amounts of women. That I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that. It happened. It was fun. It was whatever. But nowadays, look what can happen to you. Look what can happen. Now I can say all these things now. By the way, so there are women in my past who don't like me, who I had sex with, and no doubt about it. But they can't do anything to me. That is so awesome. I mean, they could come up. I'm putting myself in the Bitcoin overlay where I'm not being. I'm not in politics. I'm not trying to move up in the corporate world where someone's going to try to blackmail me or something like that. Okay, that's the best thing. So everything that I did in the past, which is all totally normal stuff, now again, this is the thing: the stuff that people did in the past that was totally normal and that everybody freaking does now could come back to haunt them. Well, Adam, remember the time that we had sex in college and we were both drunk? Now, 20 years later, I felt that wasn't right. So you got to pay me $100,000 or you're not going to be able to be CEO. Whatever, dude. See, that's the awesome thing. They can't take my Bitcoin. No one can take my Bitcoin. So, I mean, again, and I'm not saying that some woman is going to try to blackmail me one day. I would hope that people are sane and don't try to do things. But this is becoming a bigger and bigger trend. But clearly, it's very successful. It's very successful. People making old claims based on what everybody does, saying you were a criminal because you and I did what everybody did, which is totally normal. It's just having a little drink or whatever. It takes two to tango, okay? No one made those people. I mean, a girl who I'm still friends with and stuff. I mean, I think I've told this story before. Like, we were hanging out and everything. I took her out to dinner and everything, and it was going real well. And because she smoked some weed, she started falling asleep. And I was like, oh man, this sucks. I'm not, And then
She went into the bathroom, and all of a sudden, she was awake again. It was magic. Well, I was naive at the time. I didn't know that she went to snort a freaking line of coke, and then we did it like, rabbits. It was awesome. Whatever. That was cool. But, I mean, she could say in the future, well, Adam made me do coke or something. I mean, yeah, the things that can come back to you. But, again, that's the beauty. But these are, again, it takes two to tango. All of this stuff that everybody's outraged at, that women are such angels. They think, and if you're a father of a girl, of a teenager, and you're about to send her off to college, the things that go on there, it's amazing. It's like, this, and now especially, it's like a Roman orgy or something like that, apparently. And at times, and again, then they'll just, then they'll say you're a criminal, and those, and I don't, again, don't be careful, guys. I'm not saying to do these things, because now you aren't in the position that I'm in. You don't have you don't have a lot of Bitcoin. You don't even have a passport that could get you out of the country or anything like that. Okay, so again, there's all these other people out there that are like, drinking and driving is horrible. I would never drink and drive. And again, drinking and driving isn't a good thing. That is, you could kill people. It's not good. But guess what? You're driving on freaking 795 in Baltimore County or 695 in Baltimore County on a weekend night. Everybody's freaking drunk out there, okay? Almost everybody's got alcohol in them out there. So don't try to pretend like it's some rare thing out there that people are drinking and driving is so rare. It's all the time. The cops, I mean, I guess they don't feel it. They got other things to worry about, I guess, than pulling over. And in some jurisdictions, they are very strict about that. But I'm just telling you, dudes, so many people have drank and driven and with alcohol. Okay, I mean, I have too. I mean, it's not something to be proud of or anything like that. But yeah, I've had alcohol in and again, I don't drink anymore at all. And this is another reason not to drink. But these are like these open secrets. Everyone tries to virtue signal about it, like they never did it before. They never like it. No. That person shouldn't be a CEO. It's none of your darn business who's CEO of that company, what he did with a woman, or that if he drank or whatever. You have no say over it, but you feel the need that you do. You can say your opinion about it, even though you were drinking and driving too at the same age. You were doing worse things. So I just want to put it out there. No one is an angel, but at the same time, there are just things that they're not the healthiest things in the world to do. But when people are young, when people are in their teens and their 20s, they do things. Okay. They do things, and it takes two to tango. And again, don't drink and drive or whatever. But I mean, don't try to pretend that you haven't done it either. If you have, because you have. So many people have. So many people. And again, if you have lost a loved one to that, I mean, that's horrible. It is horrible. It's horrible. I mean, what can I say? It's hard. People and it was and again, when I drank and then when I drove a car, I mean, I can remember the first time I did it. I was back for I think it was Thanksgiving break, and I was just 18, and I had already had a discipline in my head. You cannot drink and drive. You cannot drink and drive. And I was out. I was like, well, how am I going to get home? I'll just drive home. I'm in control of myself or whatever. And sometimes when you've had some alcohol, you can control yourself. Some people can't. It's not a good thing. And if I would have killed someone, it would have been my fault. You got to take personal responsibility for that thing. Guy Bennett says, I don't drink and drive. I drink and give 5. Well, thank you, Guy Bennett. Thank you very much. But again, it is personal responsibility. All the things. So again, if you are going to mess around with women, if you're going to mess around with alcohol, and it does go wrong, God, you did it, and you know the current situation. It pays very well for these women to try to blackmail you. And I'm sure there are guys that are trying to do it to women also. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it seems like it's mostly women that are trying. And again, with all of this in the news, it's showing these 80%ers who have no other way of making money other than blackmailing males that, hey, yeah, why not try this out? Why not make up some lie, or try to find some guy that's somewhat successful that I slept with once or that I kissed once or something when we were drinking. All right. So what else do we have here? Cernovich. Now this guy, Mike Cernovich, I don't agree with him on everything. And I think he's been accused of false accusation, false rape accusations. And when you bring that's a brutal thing to accuse someone of rape. To turn into like college people drinking and then hooking up in the rape. It's
It's sickening. It really is. It's really sickening. But anyway, Cernovich points out that a huge chunk of the and I linked to this below, that a huge chunk of the USA thinks that Trump is basically Hitler. So of course they will lie to stop him. I mean, you would lie to stop Hitler, wouldn't you? And again, so these people are they're not very educated. They just buy into trends. They're like, he must be, I read it on Twitter that he's Hitler and it's so bad and, virtue signal. So we have to understand the mentality of the 80%ers out there so we don't get messed up. Okay, so understand, he isn't Hitler. Obviously, he's not Hitler. But there are so many people that have bought into this. So they're willing to lie. They're willing to do so much. So they take no personal responsibility. They're going to blame everything on Trump or other people. Who knows who else? We have to recognize this because if you don't recognize this, you're not going to realize that lying is becoming normal here. And a lot of the show has been about this. Lying is normal to people now. It has become normal because of, lack of personal responsibility and easy payoffs. So plan your life around that in terms of the Pence rule. People laughed at Mike Pence because, he's not in a room with a woman alone ever. Well, again, if you're in the corporate world or the political world, you're not in the Bitcoin overlay like I am. Yeah, I think it's pretty advisable to do the Pence. You don't want to be alone with a woman ever because she can make up a lie. And people lie now. People, and they have justifications for lying because they think they're stopping Hitler. I mean, it's a bad situation out there in the mainstream. But again, that's why you want to get yourself to be working for yourself, valuing your wealth in Bitcoin. So if you ever do get accused, if there's ever a lynch mob after you for some reason, hey, take your Trezor, you remember your private key, you go move to a different country, and that's it. You don't get tied down because again, there's people out there. You got to have a house. You got to have all these different. A house ties it down, dude. A house you can't take that house with you. They can take that house away from you. But you know what? If you have Bitcoin and you get into a bad situation where someone's suing you from the past, then let them have your house and then just leave. Start anew. You got your Bitcoin. Or try to sell the house, turning into Bitcoin before they can get it. Hey, MGTOW checking in from Seattle. That's from Vention MGTOW. He sent $5 in the super chat. Vention, I mentioned you at the start of the show, is one of those channels where a person can educate themselves very nicely at. You can learn about MGTOW philosophy for the working man at Vention MGTOW's channel. So what else do we have here? Stefan Molyneux reminds us there are rules in anarchy. There are rules in anarchy. There are no rulers in anarchy. Here in the so-called democracy, there are no rules anymore, or at least there's a separate set of rules for the rulers. Not everyone has to follow the laws. Taxes, some don't pay them, some pay some of them, some have friends that let them off, some have people at the IRS scrutinizing their taxes because they're of a different political party than the people. Check out Veritas videos about that. So again, that is chaos. People try to say anarchy is chaos. I mean, the chaos is the system that in the United States right now, you don't know when you're going to get persecuted. When the law will apply to you, you're walking on eggshells, basically, in terms of application of the law. So it's as if there are no rules, especially for the rulers. But again, take personal responsibility, get yourself into a situation where you're not going to have to be too concerned about, whether you're living in a democracy or in anarchy or anything like that. But again, people try to say anarchy is chaos. There are no rules. There are rules in anarchy. Okay, you don't aggress against someone. I mean, but there are no rulers in anarchy, and that's the best thing. When you have rulers, they tend to go towards sociopathic ways and power-hungry ways and favoritism and random enforcement of rules that they make too many rules. Okay. Also, here's another one thing that he brought up. People call democracy anything good they feel about government, and they call capitalism anything having to do with business corruption. At least 80. That's the 80%er definitions of democracy and capitalism, which are totally wrong definitions. So Carl Denninger at the Market Ticker says, "It is my contention that we are just one bad event away from a shooting civil war in America. And in fact, if you ask Steve Scalise, it may have already started." Okay, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think most people yelling and screaming in this fight are all about appearance. There's no action. They don't care about results. They're virtue signaling. They want to fit in. They want to pick on someone. They want to scapegoat. Right now, most people who are screaming and crying are quite happy with the outcomes of the free stuff that they keep on getting and the big screen TVs that make them the average fat, dumb American is quite happy. Some of them might be just screaming about various political things right now. They're not about to get off their fat butts and start shooting, okay, and start a war at least. There could be, individuals that are targeted or whatever, but there's some people who are like, this is a clear move. On so many things that are going on in the news now, they're like, this is a clear move toward a civil war in the United States. We're about to have a civil. No, there's not going to be a bunch of people shooting at each other and stuff. Again, most of the 80%ers who are screaming and crying and saying, "Oh, I'm so offended. Oh, I'm going to sue you for something you did because you drank when you were 19 years old." Yeah, they're all talk. They're all talk, and they want someone to do it for them. Someone to they're passive aggressive in most of the things they do, and they're just satisfied. They're satisfied with the current way of life, and that we are not satisfied with. In the the people who mostly watch this, they want to better themselves. They have standards. They discriminate, and they're aiming to move up in life. And those people they're thinkers. They're not violent reactionaries or anything like that. And they're not going to start shooting or warring either. Here, Guy Bennett sent another $5. Dude, you're awesome. Mon Hennessy. "Oh, Judge, you darn laws. The good people don't need them, and the bad people don't obey them." That's a good one, man. The good people don't need them, don't need laws, and the bad people don't obey them. Very true. That's by Mon Hennessy. I don't even know. Should I know who that is? I don't. There's some honesty for you. Pound that freaking like button. But thank you, Guy Bennett, for the $5 and for that there. Okay, was it no action right now? Okay, yeah, the average American. Okay, so finally, one last thing. Pound that like button, first of all. But the wealth, this is from Zero Hedge. The wealth of the top 1% surpasses $100 trillion, more than the global GDP and all central bank balance sheets. Okay, that's great. I mean, don't be jealous of the top 1%. I mean, don't try to take away from them to bridge the income inequality gap. There is no income inequality. I mean, it's like, no, the CEOs make what they want. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So if they're earning that money, they're earning that money. This is what you do, okay? That, the top 1% is that rich. Find out a way to be in that top 1%. And I think all you people watching this know that this Bitcoin thing, this cryptocurrency thing is going to be big. And those 1%ers will be buying into it. This is a ticket, man. This is a ticket into the elite, okay? It's already, I mean, it's helped me an incredible, because I recognized this quite a few years ago now, okay? But we're still early on, okay? We're still early. I was about to say I recognized this early on. We're still early on. I guess I recognize this ultra early on. But dude, you can still end up in the 1% with this thing. Get yourself into the Bitcoin overlay. And I brought up all of the reasons to get into this Bitcoin overlay, to get into the mentality of one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, to value your wealth in Bitcoin. The more Bitcoin you get, the more value that's in Bitcoin, the more unconfiscatable value you have, the more freedom you have, the more likely you're not going to have to work for anyone or be involved in politics where people can make false accusations about you and try to steal your wealth. And again, if you've got all your wealth in Bitcoin and you are working in the corporate world, they can't take it away from you. Someone who sues you or makes up a lie about you or exaggerates something that happened that everybody does. It's open. And God, and another thing, people, say Trump, remember when Trump said that thing, grab that woman by the whatever? Have any of you ever been in a locker room before? Have you ever hung out with guys before? Every time I hang out with my guy friends, still we use profane language. We talk about women and stuff. I mean, come on. That's just the way men are. And for people to pretend like, oh, it was so outrageous what he said. It wasn't outrageous what he said. That's the way men talk. And as a successful man too. I mean, an ultra rich billionaire, whatever he is, I guess they have dirty mouths too. Are they not allowed to have dirty mouths? You have all the people saying that, Trump said the P word. How do they talk? How do those people talk and stuff? I mean, I bet a lot of the people who were saying, oh, I'm so offended by the way, a lot of the liberal people who are like, man, that disgusts me. I bet a lot of them, just flash around the N word and stuff. Not even as a racist term, but just to say it. That's a filthy freaking word right there. That's a filthy freaking word. And I hold myself to a standard. I never say such a filthy word as the N word because it is filthy. It's such a horrifying history. Okay, but so I can say to people who use that word that disgusts me and everything like that. I'm not gonna. But again, in terms of sexual content and stuff, guys talk all sorts of stuff in not just, I say, the locker room, but just when they're hanging out. There used to be men's club. There should still be men's clubs. Here, Gregor Kovacs says, matzo balls on me, Adam. Tomorrow I'll buy gefilte. Well, dude, I don't know what you exactly mean by that. Jews don't eat that stuff every day of the year, for God's sakes. Matzo balls is during Passover, and gefilte fish is usually during Passover too. This stuff is not very healthy. And I don't know if you're trying to stereotype Jews or whatever. You gave me $9.99. Thank you, Gregor. Maybe you're trying to be funny, and I guess it's sort of funny. But most Jewish people don't eat that stuff at all. It's just you make it. It's just like am I gonna say to a black friend like, hey, fried chicken's on me. Fried chicken. They don't eat fried chicken all the darn time. All right. So maybe you think that's funny. Maybe it is funny. I don't know. That's an opinion right there. But thank you for the $9.99. And again, I don't recommend people eating gefilte fish or matzo balls. Really, you don't even need to eat them on Passover. There's other things to eat on Passover that not everybody eats that stuff. That's Jewish. Just want to get that out there for everyone. And Gregor is Jewish. He says, okay, Gregor. So. I don't know, Gregor, we can't really put it's not always to encourage certain stereotypes. I think I'm explaining it pretty well to everyone out there right now by me saying that, it's funny. We can make Seinfeldian type of jokes about it, but to a certain, I'm just telling everybody, not all Jewish people eat that stuff. The gefilte fish is not good for you. It's a lot of preservatives in it. And obviously matzo balls, it's bread. It's carbs. It's not good. And again, why would anyone eat matzo balls not just at a time other than Passover unless you want to get fat? It's all right. So we're I don't even know what I was saying now. I was talking to you. You threw me off there. You threw me off there, Gregor. All right. What else? But thank you for the $9.99. We're talking about so aim high, people, have high standards, discriminate. Oh, I was talking about locker room talk. There we go. Yeah. So let's not pretend that every guy out there has said sexual comments about women before. Everyone. And then you should, when you're being intimate with a woman, certain women, they want you to say the most dirtiest. There were things that women want me to do with them. I couldn't do it. I couldn't say the things. I felt uncomfortable. I don't like talking that dirty. I hope I don't want to get in too much trouble with this video. Again, this is definitely a beyond Bitcoin video.
the things they say. I mean, they're dirty as anything too. You know, slap me and this and that. You know, and this is, I don't want to. I can't say some of the things. Obviously, this is a. I haven't used any curse words, but already we've gone beyond PG here, and maybe there's some kids watching now. No, there's no kid watching this right now. Who am I kidding? All right, pound that like button. I'm Adam. It's going too long. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the notes section below. I will say, oh look, it's Bitcoin Honey Badger. I'll say hi to you guys in the chat. This one was pretty funny.